Sports School is brought to you by BASF and Pride Seeds.
All right, so I think really, Ken, the first thing we should touch on is going into spring and tillage. Like I said, we had a lot of primary tillage done last fall in some pretty good conditions.
Yep.
You know, maybe not everybody agrees with the tillage in the fall, but we had some 3 years in a lot of places of issues that needed to be cleaned up from a compaction side of things.
Yep.
So going into spring, you know, we should be good set up cultivating. Make sure we get those cultivators set up. I know I've had lots of situations I've walked into the field and you see the rolling harrows either not in the ground properly or cultivator teeth deep in the ground at the front and barely touching at the back. You know, it's not a hard setup. Take a few extra minutes. Make sure that cultivator's level. Vertical tillage, whatever you're doing, you know, those are as important as the planter. And a lot of things that we gotta, you know, just those little things that we gotta look at going forward. I think, you know, as in the past year, we had to deal with a lot of corn stalks. Those corn stalks are going to be very mature, blow to pieces, and no-till soybeans. And I think that's something we haven't seen in a couple of years, where those beans really struggled last year through the month of June. We should have some pretty good conditions for no-till soybeans.
You know, we polar opposite fall and winter from the last 2 years. Lots of soil biology at work on that crop residue. It was more mature, as you alluded to, going in. And, you know, in late November, December, we could watch those corn stubble fields just get browner and browner by the week with that biology activity going on. So another key point on the tillage equipment, whether it's vertical till or just a standard S-tine or C-shank cultivator, whatever, you know, residue distribution is a big one. That was a huge problem last year when we walked fields after the frost in late May, was seeing that uneven residue distribution, and then the mechanical issues it caused with trying to make a good furrow and good seed placement. Now again, those stalks are going to be a lot easier to deal with this year. They should blow right to pieces, like you mentioned. So
I think one other thing that maybe we should touch on is big livestock contention. Applying manure this spring. We got a lot of guys that, you know, went into early fall, got their manure out early, you know, so they're looking at needing to get manure out early this spring. And time again, we can't say this enough, that's your first compaction of the year. Make sure you're doing the best you can to not light that compaction up right off the start.
And understand that, you know, when that top layer starts to turn white and appear dry, you can make dust fly going across it, but it's not fit underneath. And when those soils just prior to being fit, that is when they're at their most compactable state. And that's one common problem that ourselves as agronomists see in June is the compaction from manure traffic. Look at some options, which the key one is patience. Some of the deflation technologies out there for the tires on the tankers are really cool. Or look at drag lines. There's a lot of good options coming forward to solve what is becoming a really pertinent issue in livestock country. So the next thing we want to talk about, Dan, we're seed company agronomists, so we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about seed and the grower having their seed plan in place for the spring. So obviously we're getting into that time of year, some nice weather. A lot of growers have taken delivery of seed corn and soybeans already through the winter with the nice weather. And you know, the next month, lots of seed going to be going up and down the road on trucks. And we'll talk a bit about that seed plan and the need to get, you know, neonic regulation paperwork in place, but also the good practice of having the actual field prescription plan and having your seed order positioned by farm or by field.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the things that we always have to look at, and maybe something we don't spend enough time at, maybe we don't want to take that seed early, but I think this year, we're looking at early spring, get your seed on farm. The next thing to do, look at those weights on those seeds. Make sure you know where you're at. If you've got a vacuum planner, if you've got anything, you need to know and have that plan ahead. And I think, you know, it doesn't take long right now. Even write it on the bags, you know, planter setting for this variety. Have that plan. So if you're not the one planting, or, you know, if all of a sudden things change, varieties change, you still have that idea set ahead. You know where your vacuum is, and you don't have to spend a lot of time setting that up. And I think that's a key situation that doesn't take a lot of time to set up.
Exactly, and that leads to, again, the goal we alluded to earlier, you know, that uniform emergence right out of the gate, which is a good planning job, good placement, good metering, you know, achieving that as close to perfect 100% drop as you possibly can. You got to have the right planner set up. So understand your planner, understand the seed that's been shipped to you, and how to get set up for it.
Well, let's face it, you know, planners are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're excellent technology, and they're built to plant anything. They're built with easy changes, so make sure that you're looking, whether it's small or large or right on where you were set last year. But, you know, have that plan in place, make sure you get that uniform stand, uniform drop, and go from there. I think the next thing we look at when, you know, talking to seed, you didn't mention neonic paperwork, Ken. This is our first year as an industry, as farmers, that we're having to deal with that. We're not going to get real in depth to that, but just make sure you have your paperwork set up and follow those IPM rules and those your setup and everything you have set there. Copies in the planners, copies for your seed reps, and copies for yourself. So we have that set up in the planner. I think the next thing we got to go to is fertilizer on the planner.
Absolutely.
Fertilizer strategies. You know, we're running into an early spring, so how are we going to be set up for our nitrogen? We saw huge advantages to late end last year. And I think, you know, lots of questions on using an N stabilizer, Y drop system, going in crop at late B stages. All excellent ideas, but you got to have that plan ahead of time. It's not going to be today I decide to plant and put urea on. So I think, you know, there are some excellent reps out there at your retail where you're buying your fertilizers. Awesome ideas on how to get in crop, whether it's spreading urea or Y drops. Very exciting. I think that's stuff we haven't tapped into enough in the past.
Tremendous amount of information at all the meetings, Southwest Ag Conference, all the ag conferences this year. The agronomy industry has learned a lot on nitrogen management, particularly late nitrogen, understanding weather and environmental dynamics and soil dynamics, how that works. Your retailer needs to know that plan, especially if you're counting on custom application.
Absolutely.
To have, number one, product in place, and number two, have the logistical wherewithal to get the job done for you on time. So communicate those plans, ask questions about it, and try some things. If you're new to late nitrogen, I think one of the key points is that's come out of all the winter meetings is that dovetailing of late nitrogen with a foliar fungicide application like a headline or pre-Axor product.
And I've talked to some guys here at the London Farm Show. It's been a great show. Really interesting ideas coming forward. Even talked to a few fellas that are thinking of Y dropping on the one section on a 15-inch centers on your sprayer, and putting there's new technology where it's a dual tank on your sprayer, able to put fungicide on and nitrogen at the same time. Crazy exciting. You know, we have variable rate options that are awesome. I think there's so many fun things coming down.
Cover crop seeding with side dress. I talked to many guys this week about that, and I mean the ingenuity that's happening in these farm sheds this winter on cover crop application in season. We're going to learn a lot next winter on how that worked.
Well, and I think we can see that from the Twitter chatter that we've read or been involved in. The other thing that I'm very excited about and really looking forward to working with over the next few years is strip tillage. I think with phosphorus laws coming down and where we have to do a better job and work to clean up some water systems, you know, I think strip tillage is where we're going to go. You know, it's a happy medium between no-till and tillage.
It's and you know, as has been alluded to many times, it's how we're going to get enough phosphorus to the plant, to the root system.
Absolutely.
These high-yielding crops are fantastic, but we have to account for the fact that they do remove nutrient, particularly phos. And how do we get it there in an environmentally sound way and an agronomically sound way? And when we talk agronomically sound, it's the impact on your wallet. How do we get maximum utilization of our fertilizer dollar?
Absolutely, and be environmentally sound, as you said. But yeah, I think I'm very, very excited to work with strip tillage with some growers. And so with that, I think we're really wrapping up on spring. Last thing to talk about, plant fit. Don't worry about the date.
Don't worry about your neighbors.
Don't worry about your neighbors. Go when you should go. You know, yes, last year we had a frost in May. You can't control that. Go when the field's fit. Herbicide strategy, also important. We have some new technologies coming in soybeans with Roundup Ready 2 Extends. New exciting ways to control some resistant weeds. But we need to have a strategy ahead of time with that. doing soil applied, multiple modes of action, making sure we're doing the best job we can.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we grow soybeans now like a good corn crop needs to be grown, and that is a soil applied herbicide, 2 pass programs, multiple modes of action, and really trying to manage some of the challenges brought about by herbicide tolerant weed species. And again, it's just sound management going forward. So going to cost a few extra dollars per acre in weed control, but at the end of the day, you know, weed-free soybeans by that V2 stage. Which is part of the you know, the Roundup 2 Extend program, and you know, part of managing Pride XRN soybean varieties with that technology is getting those fields clean prior to the second trifoliate stage, get them off to the races.
Absolutely. So with that, I think you know, thanks for your time. There's a lot of things to work on towards spring in the next 45 days, as you alluded to. Very exciting. We're looking at an awesome spring going into.
Hope so.
Excellent, fun new things to work with. Looking forward to working with a lot of those. You know, having a great time here at the London Farm Show. Look forward to seeing the planter setup videos on RealAgriculture.com that are going to be on soon. Really getting down to the nuts and bolts of things. So with that, I'm Dan Foster, Market Development Agronomist for Pride Seeds.
Ken Curra, Market Development Agronomist with Pride Seeds, and have a great day. Look forward to the planter videos.
Look forward to spring. Let's have fun.